What's up, nerds? It's Pat from the Nerd You're Looking For podcast. Today, I'm really excited to talk about the upcoming convention that Tyler, my co-host, and I from the podcast will be attending, Indy PopCon 2018. We get a booth at this particular convention every single year. I think this is their 5th year in existence, and we always have a blast. Our booth number this year is 1130, so if you're in town and you haven't gotten tickets already, tickets are still on sale. If you do have your tickets, definitely plan on checking us out at booth 1130. We have a lot of cool stuff planned. Of course, we just have regular, the Nerds You're Looking For merch. We also have a giveaway. If you sign up for our newsletter, you are entered to win a prize of your choosing once a day. So you have 3 chances, obviously one for every day of PopCon, to win a prize at our booth 1130. And we will also be recording some audio for the upcoming episode of the podcast and a little bit of video for you, just strictly YouTube fans of ours. And as we do every year, we're actually going to be recording live on stage. So the audio for next podcast will be the stuff that we record at the booth with you guys and the stuff that we record live on stage. And this year's especially exciting because we're kind of kicking off PopCon, at least from the podcast perspective, because we will be recording live on stage as soon as the doors open on Friday. So as soon as the doors open, you need to rush over there to the podcast stage and check us out. 2 p.m. on Friday, live on the podcast stage. We're super excited not only to kick off the podcast stuff for Indy PopCon, but we're also super excited because we're going to be joined by our good friend Tony from Geeking in Indiana. He's a good friend of ours that we met actually through attending PopCon every year, and we've been wanting to get him on the podcast for a while, and this is a perfect opportunity. He's a really cool guy. It's actually funny because Tyler and I talk about this on the podcast all the time. Obviously, we have similar interests because we're friends, and we talk about this a lot on the podcast, that nerd culture, one great thing about it is the fact that it's so expansive and there's so many things that fall under this huge blanket of the culture. And there's just no way that the two of us can like every single thing the way that we obsess over things. There's just not enough time in the day. So it's cool to have somebody like Tony that has a little bit, obviously he's a huge nerd, he's a huge geek, whatever you want to call it. He does his own thing over at Geeking in Indiana, but he does seem to like a few different things than we do. So it's always cool to have somebody like that on the podcast to not only expand our horizons, but to expand our audience horizons as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that conversation. And of course, we're both nerds, so we're both really excited just to be at the convention. Conventions are so cool because there's so many nerdy people there. Plus, the guests this year at PopCon look amazing. Like, they have a really great lineup of guests. They have Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. They have Hodor. They have Bran from Game of Thrones. So I'm really excited. Tyler and I always buy like action figures or Funko Pops or whatever to have these people sign them. I'm starting to get quite the collection of autographed Pops and action figures from going to all these different conventions. Like, I went to Comic-Con a couple of years ago, my wife and I did. We always take a trip for our anniversary, and we decided to go to Indianapolis 2 years ago because Comic-Con was there that particular weekend. And I got Charlie Cox to sign a Daredevil Pop. And he actually signed it Happy Anniversary. I don't know if you can read it. My wife and I have had that debate whether or not he spelled anniversary right, because he kind of just scribbled it. But that was really cool. And then I had Troy Baker sign Bioshock Infinite Booker DeWitt Pop as well. I think this was PopCon last year, actually. So they always have a good variety of different guests. And so I have and if I could take this off the shelf without falling, please don't drop them. I have a Mantis Pop, and I also have a brand Stark pop as well. So I'm definitely excited to have these two signed as well. And I always get them signed to me because I don't ever plan on selling them. I really look forward to having these guys, these celebrities, sign my nerdy stuff. And it's usually Funko Pops. That's kind of the easiest thing for me to get them to sign. I'm not a huge collector, but it's still pretty cool to have a few here and there that I have these people sign at conventions. And if that wasn't enough, if I wasn't excited enough for this particular convention, it's actually falls on my birthday. So June 9th, Saturday of the convention, is actually my 31st birthday. So I'm even more excited because that's kind of what I do on my birthday. I don't usually make a big deal out of it. Like, I think last year we did make a big deal because it was my 30th. We actually flew out to Vegas, my wife and I, to visit some family. But that was the biggest thing that I've done for my birthday in years, maybe since my 21st birthday. Like, that was the biggest thing. I usually just kind of go see a movie and just kind of go to the arcade and play some arcade games for a while. Just kind of do what I want to do. I typically, the last couple of years, I've gotten a tattoo as well because that's not something that I do very often. So it's usually just kind of like a few things that I want to do, but I don't make a huge deal out of it. So it's kind of cool 2 years in a row to have something big happen on my birthday. Last year we went to Vegas. This year we're going to be at Indy PopCon. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. If you haven't already, like I said earlier, tickets are still available at IndyPopCon.com. Check us out at 11:30, booth 11:30. Do not forget that. Booth 11:30. I've said it like 10 times throughout this video. As always, I'd really appreciate if you smash that subscribe button, ding that bell, hit that like button. All of those things help us out tremendously. We really appreciate it. And as always, I will put all the links to everything else, including the podcast and nerds you're looking for, in the video description below. For Patrick Kuhn, I am the nerd you're looking for. Take it easy, nerds.